Our topic for us this morning, for Health Nugget, is about the new start. And this acronym was coined by someone from California, from Weimar Institute. He arranged the words in a certain way that when we put them together, we have what they call the new start. All of us need to start again in our life, particularly in the physical. Sometimes we contracted bad habits, and those habits tend to catch up with us. And to a point now, we become cluttered. We cannot discern the Word of God. And that's why God gave us this message, the right hand of the three angels message. So if we take the new start and stand for nutrition, by themselves, every law, we consider that a law of health. If we observe even one of them, there will be a lot of benefits. And if we put them together, the benefits will be multiplied. So this morning, let us talk about the way we eat, our diet. This will concern every one of us. Usually, the bad habit that we have today, the consequences of today, started earlier at a young age when we overconsume. Indeed, God created us perfectly, faithfully, and wonderfully. But sometimes this body will build itself. How we can do that? The way we eat. We are what we eat. We live in a society of abundance. What we eat transfer in our life too. We eat more fat, more sugar, more carbohydrate, more proteins, whatever we do. But today we need to reconsider. We need to consider about the diet that God gave us. If we go now and buy a car, first of all, they will tell you after 6,000 miles or 3,000, you need to change oil. There will be a particular type of oil to use. If you use another type of oil, then the car will be over. The same for us. Our Father in heaven created us and gave us a diet, the first diet. A diet full of fruit. As a matter of fact, in nature, fruits are everywhere. I come from the Caribbean. You got mangoes. Everywhere we got fruits. Peaches, apples, strawberries. There is a reason. Not only to beautify the garden, but also for us to eat. God give us grain, vegetables, legumes, nuts, seed. It is the time to reconsider our diet, to go back to the previous diet. We are, instead of having a diet full of meat, they have to kill those animals. Those animals themselves are sick, and usually we eat them also. So now we see, now there is a pandemic. Some people are dying. Some people do not have vaccine, they don't take vaccine, and they survive. How come this happened? Most of the time, the way they conduct their life. If we keep the 8 laws of health, there will be a big difference. So this morning, I counsel you to go back to the original diet. Another thing also, avoid protein from animal fat. Be careful of this chicken. Be careful of this cow. Be careful. Too much of it. Try to win and try to move all together to a vegan diet and try to diversify our food. One thing we see in nature, the foods, they are juicy, but they are colorful. The more colorful, the better for us. They got what they call antioxidant. Another thing we need to consider also is limit the fat. Yes, we need some fat, the good fat. You can find it in nuts, in seed, in avocado, but be careful, do not overconsume it. If we consume it too much, then we become big, and we know with weight, there will be a consequence. The blood pressure will rise, the blood sugar will rise. Be careful. Now, our salt consumption, the sugar, the more sugar we use, this deplete our pancreas become overactive. In the process, we will become diabetic, God forbid. Another thing we need to consider, to have a good breakfast in the morning, a hearty a hearty breakfast in the morning. Then we taper our food consumption. Then at lunch, we got a moderate lunch, but at night, we got a light supper. People want to, the sumo people who try to go big and fight, usually they got the biggest meal just before sleeping. So be careful. When you have a large supper, guess what? You're about to sleep. All this energy will be transformed into fat. We don't want that. So let this be this way. In the morning, you got a heavy breakfast. Your lunch will be moderate, and your supper will be light. And also, allow yourself 5 hours between meals. Do not consume all the time, the snacks all the time. You put stuff in your mouth. Be careful. Every time we do that, we confuse our stomach. We start the process again. Do not eat between meals. So I want to conclude with this verse that we found in 3 John verse 2. 3 John verse 2. And it said, "Beloved, above all things, be prosper." That's to be prosper, for our soul to prosper. But also what we need to have to be in good health. When we are in good health, we will be more apt to discern the word of God. And remember, this body is not ourselves. We are bought, we are peculiar by the precious blood of our Savior. He died for us. He wanted us to be in good health. May the Lord bless us. Thank you.